Great. I'm Kathy Battles. I'm from the Department of Communication, Journalism, and Public Relations. I have been a faculty member there for since 2006, and next year will be the department chair. So you're meeting the future department chair today. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Department of Communication, Journalism, and Public Relations at Oakland University. We are one department, but we have a lot of different programs. We have two people from English today too, another department with lots of programs. We have three majors: communication, journalism, public relations, and strategic communication. We have a number of minors, including our new communication and deaf studies minors. We have minors in communication, PR, journalism, advertising, digital media production, relational communication, and if you're feeling extra ambitious today, we also offer our Communication BA to MA program, which is a program which allows you to, in 5 years, get both a bachelor's and a master's degree. We are a department that is unique. Communication as a discipline overall is unique in that we have a combination of theory and content kind of coursework, as well as practice and practicum-oriented coursework. So we really prepare students for careers in today's information economy. And our students go on to work in things like public relations, advertising, social media marketing. They work in event planning. They work in corporate, community, or government relations, so doing internal communications for different kinds of organizations. They work in radio and television broadcasting and in digital content creation, as more and more news and media organizations move to multimedia formats for presenting information. They work in nonprofits around the areas, and they work in news organizations. We are a student-centered faculty across the three programs. Our faculty are a combination of active researchers. We are people who research in communication, research journalism, research PR, and regularly present at professional conferences, regularly publish in top journals in our field, with top presses in our field. We also have a number of faculty who work in communication, in journalism, in public relations, who come and teach for us to offer our students that kind of hand-on training that is so important for their careers. We are a department that has many student organizations or related organizations that allow for real hands-on experience in communication. So we have, and I think importantly, offer great leadership opportunities for students. So you can volunteer or work for WXOU, which is our award-winning radio station, the Oakland Post, which is our award-winning newspaper. We have three associations: the Society of Professional Journalism, Journalists, the Public Relations Student Society of America, and the Association of Women in Communication. All of these are organizations that feature both students, and they also have members who are work in the professional fields in our community. So they're great ways to connect with professionals in our community. We have our Honors Association, Iota Eta. We offer student research opportunities. We have a lot of undergraduates who work with faculty on research or who present their research at local conferences. And finally, we offer communication, journalism, and public relations specific scholarships that are just for our students. We are obsessed with making sure that our students are prepared for life after graduation. We have a robust internship program with major PR firms, major marketing firms, and other kinds of organizations around the Detroit metro area. And research shows that interns do much better on the job market. And in fact, a lot of our students go on to work for the organizations that they internship with. Our students do extraordinarily well after graduation. They work in a wide variety of organizations in the area and nationally and even globally. Our students work at Fiat Chrysler, General Motors, Boeing, Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. We have students who work at public relations firms in Detroit, Atlanta, New York City, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles for major local firms like Lambert, MRM McCann, and Fleishman and Hillard. We also have students who've worked for major news organizations, including the New York Times, ESPN, CNN, CBS Sports, The Guardian, and the Weather Channel, as well as local media, including the Detroit Free Press, WXYZ, Fox 2 Detroit, 89X, and WWJ News Radio. So our students do really well after graduation. So finally, why should you come to communication, journalism, and public relations? We have small class sizes. If you're interested in any aspect of communication, Um, you will find professors who care, whether we're teaching about interpersonal relationships, whether we're teaching about media, whether we're teaching you about basic reporting skills, whether we're teaching you about digital content creation skills or digital storytelling, whether we're teaching you about how to build health campaigns. We have professors who are dedicated to making sure that you learn both great theory and great skills. We have opportunities for you in organizations. We have scholarships. We offer lots of leadership opportunities through those organizations and internships. And I think that you'll find when you come to communication journalism and PR at Oakland is that there's a real community in our department, that our students are part of a cohort that is close and know each other, and are excited about the kind of coursework they're doing and the kind of work they're doing, that because of our small class size, they have really close relationships with faculty members. And finally, you should come visit us on our Instagram account, which is OUCommJournPR, that includes a link to our newsletter. We have a newsletter that comes out at least once a semester, that we call it the loop, that keeps you in the loop. And that's Stuart the cat, by the way, one of our faculty members' cats, that tells you about life in our department, new programs we're offering, new kinds of courses we're offering, etc. In communication and journalism and public relations.
I'm Kevin Grimm. I'm the faculty advisor in the Department of English. And what you're looking at is a image of a manuscript that includes a picture of Chaucer, and the writer here is writing about Chaucer. So I like to think of Chaucer as an early English major. I specialize in medieval literature, and hence my interest in manuscripts. Why English? One thing I want to put out there right away is that, and this is I think is true of communications and journalism also, but the things you hear about hiring are not as true as you often think. English majors actually get hired at about the same rate as other undergraduate majors. It is not true that English majors don't find jobs. It is true that engineers and business people often have higher starting salaries, but a number of studies show that 10 years out, the English majors now have higher salaries. It's a really kind of interesting thing to see. One does need to hunt around for a job, like as Kathy was saying, we have English majors who do all sorts of things. Wide variety of careers are available. And most importantly, you acquire skills that you can use in a number of different ways. Let me talk a little bit quickly now about our actual program. I mean, the faculty are also committed totally to the students. We have small classes, you have access. I often, even in this pandemic world, when I'm doing Zoom classes, my classes are in the evening, and I usually end them around 9, but I don't end the meeting, and I stay there. And anybody who wants to stick around for a few minutes after class, just as would be the same in a physical classroom, can stick around. I had a class earlier this week where a couple students stuck around, ended up talking for about 30 to 45 minutes. So we do care deeply about our students. At the same time, we are also researchers, skilled professionals who produce books and articles and are fascinated by the study of literature. The English department also has a wide variety of internships and organizations and opportunities. Let me show you a little bit about the program itself. We recently revised and updated our program. I'm not going to go through this in detail, but I think it's exciting to know there's only one individual course that's required. It's our gateway course, an Introductory to Literary Studies. And once you've had that, you take courses in a variety of different categories. A brand new one that we've instituted is a course in global and ethnic literature, and we've created new courses, which you can see here on various global and ethnic topics. And then you need 2 courses in literary history, chosen from this list of courses. One from earlier literary history, one from later literary history, one from British, and one from American. So you can take like an early British, a later American, or early American, or later British. We want to spread you around in terms of the different kinds of English language literature and in terms of different time periods. Then there's also a category of critical and cultural approaches, and here are some newly created courses that fit into there. And after you have taken courses to fulfill those categories, your crowning experience is a capstone seminar taken usually in your final year. And I'll turn this over to my colleague, Amanda Stearns-Pfeiffer.
So as Kevin suggested, I'm also in the English department, And my specialty, my program area is STEP, and STEP stands for Secondary Teacher Education Program. So if you would like to become a middle or high school teacher, I am the person you want to talk to. And the English department is the place you want to be. I'll give a brief overview of what to expect in our program. First, I want to brag about this picture here is a picture of a recent group of graduates in their 5th and final semester at Oakland. So they were student teaching, and we traveled to Lansing to a state conference in English education together. So those are the kinds of exciting field trips you will get to go on if you become a STEP English major. So what does the program look like? It is a 5-year program, and changes are coming. So if you are a junior or a senior in high school, these changes will apply to you. In 2023, the program will move to what we call a 4+1 model. And Kathy mentioned the 4+1 model a little bit in her presentation. And so what that means is that currently, if you were a STEP student at Oakland, you would graduate after 5 years. It's a 5-year program. And you would graduate with an undergraduate degree only. The 4+1 model, which will be in place after 2023, means that it's still a 5-year program, but you will graduate after those 5 years with your master's degree as well. So that's a pretty cool change that we are excited about. The first 4 years of your program, whether we're talking about the 4+1 or the current model, will be spent on major and minor coursework and your gen ed requirements. And then the fall of your 4th year, you apply to the STEP program. And then that 5th year is spent in the field, intern teaching. So I'll go into a little bit more detail on what that 5th year looks like, because it's by far the most exciting year of the program, and also has kind of the most working parts that students often have questions about. Whether you have a minor in this program is actually becoming an option. So I have a list of potential minors that you could choose as an English major, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about them today because we're sort of phasing out the minor option. But if you also have an interest in teaching biology, chemistry, history, math, et cetera, you could minor in that area and then be certified to teach both. So back to that 5th and final year of intern teaching. So this is something that's unique here at Oakland. We require an entire year of intern teaching, whereas a lot of institutions require only 1 semester. So what that looks like at Oakland is this. In the fall, you are a part-time student at Oakland. So you are still in usually two teaching methods courses, and then you are in the field getting to know your student teaching placement, but you're not yet the full-time intern teacher. That winter semester then, which is your final year here at Oakland before you graduate, that's when you take over all of the responsibilities in the classroom and you become the full-time intern teacher. So you graduate at the end of that 5th and final semester, but it's a slow work up to becoming that full-time teacher. When I went through my student teaching, kind of the traditional way was it's the being thrown into the deep end of the pool to learn how to swim sort of metaphor. And we work really hard not to do that to our intern teachers. We have in place a highly scaffolded process that begins with a lot of observation in that fall semester when you're in the field part-time. And you spend a lot of time on building relationships with your mentor teacher. You do some trial and shadow teaching. So your mentor teacher will teach a lesson and you will teach the next hour just like he or she taught it. We also build in a lot of time for reflection and work on improving. It's our philosophy that if you were so overwhelmed in that student teaching semester with just sort of surviving being the teacher, then there's not sort of the mental room to also reflect on how you want to improve as a practitioner yourself. So we carve out a lot of space for that individual sort of working on your own teaching expertise and teaching persona before you become that full-time student teacher. So why is this so great that we have this full year in the classroom? Well, for that scaffolding experience, as I just explained, but also after graduation, our graduates are very marketable. We often have local school districts ask us, who do you have graduating who can come and teach, English, or always math and science, but English and social studies, of course, too. You will have a lot of opportunity for jobs, both here in Michigan and across the nation. That wasn't the case 5, 7, 8 years ago, but there is definitely a market in Michigan for teachers. We need teachers. That competitive resume that you will have after an entire year of student teaching will give you that competitive edge above and beyond students who have only had that kind of traditional one semester of student teaching.